Alright, this is video number 2 movie review on that movie called Puncture Wounds. I already made part 1, this is part 2, and there's just a lot for me to say about this movie. Not that it's a good movie, it's just that I think it's a good representation of the state of society and where I see it going, and the role models that people choose to look up to and things of that nature. Is just very sad. But those of you who don't know what that movie is, it's for free on YouTube. It's called Puncture Wounds, starring Cung Lee. Um, he's a cage fighter. He's a Sansao competition fighter, and he's like Vietnamese or American Vietnamese or Vietnamese American or something like that. But anyway, continue on with this movie review. I think it's just very sad about what it's trying to teach to the audience. I think I left off saying like how the fight scenes are nothing special. It's just like anybody could do those fight scenes. You don't need to be very strong or like a great fighter to do the fight scenes that he did. It's just basic stuff that anybody could do. Keanu Reeves could do it. Matt Damon could do it. Brad Pitt could do it. Denzel Washington could do it. I mean, those fight scenes are nothing special. It's not like what you see Tony Jaa doing and things like that. Okay. But what I see as a major problem is, the violence that he was representing. I mean, he's basically his character he's like a criminal. There's not even any good people in the movie. I mean, there's nobody representing goodness. He's somebody that came back from war. His mind's all messed up. He's pretty much like mentally disturbed, and just a very violent person. Somebody that's ready to explode. And basically, what ended up happening is these gang members killed his family, and then now the whole movie he's like seeking revenge to kill off the people that killed his family. And then he's getting other people involved. He gets his war buddy involved. Basically convincing his war buddy to kill people with him, even though his war buddy has nothing to do with this. He pretty much convincing his friend through peer pressure to help him like kill people. He ends up like convincing his friend to help him, and then his friend ends up dying. So he ends up becoming responsible for the death of his friend, and his friend had nothing to do with this. This is all between him and the drama that he couldn't let go of. That's a very poor example of like a role model, like somebody convincing their friend to murder people, and then his friend ends up getting murdered himself. And then the movie's making it seem as if, oh, it's okay to kill people and everything's gonna be okay. It's okay to kill a few people in the parking lot, and then the cops won't get you. Like there's no worries. I mean, that's absolutely ridiculous. You know what I mean? Like, he kills some people in the parking lot and then acts as if nothing happened, and then acts as if like the police can't find the murderer, which they could very easily trace it back to him, but in the movie they didn't trace it back to him. And then these gangsters end up killing his family, and then he's going on this killing spree, finding all these people to kill, to seek revenge for his parents or his family or whatever. And then so he's doing all this killing. So as he's killing people, there's guns involved, and then it's just like idiotic. They're having these standoffs, and then there's guns pointed everywhere, and then they're like, okay, let's not shoot, let's just fight hand-to-hand combat. That just came out of nowhere, which didn't make sense at all. And then he's fighting hand-to-hand combat with some of these gangsters, and he kills one of them or kills a couple of them, and then the other main gangster leader has a gun, and then they decide, oh, let's put the gun down, let's fight. And then they fight, and then it's just a bunch of nonsense. I mean, I can't even explain the stupidity of it. You know, I mean, it's just, I think it's just really difficult in general to even make any sense out of like unarmed combat in a world full of weapons. So all these movies, not just this one, but just so many in general, it's harder and harder to find a reason to even fight without weapons because weapons are everywhere. It's kind of like having a movie like where the people in the movie are just all using landlines instead of cell phones and text messaging. I mean, cell phones and text messaging and internet is in the is a part of this modern world. And then if you have a movie in modern times where they don't use the internet, or they act like the internet doesn't exist, or they act like cell phones don't exist, it's just nonsense. Or did they act like cars don't exist? You know, I mean, in modern movies, it's harder and harder to find a reason to even have unarmed combat. It's all about weapons and guns. You know, so this movie just points out even more stupidity in it. Like, why would these people drop the guns and then have them fight unarmed? It's just so stupid. So then they end up doing that, and then he kills all these people, and all these people are dead, and then the police show up and say, oh, yeah, it's okay. Like, yeah, you serve justice. Just leave. It's okay. You can just leave, and we'll take care of this. It's just like, are you serious? Like, you really think that you could just go around killing a bunch of people and then nothing's gonna happen? Like, you're not gonna have to get arrested and then explain yourself in court and then like potentially go to jail for the rest of your life for killing all these people. And then like they even had a scene where one of the army guys or whatever, the marine guy or whatever, came in to talk to the police, and the marine guy is trying to basically justify like that that Cung Lee killing all these people is real justice, and something about like you guys aren't doing it, so he's gonna make sure that it's done. And it's just like, it's just absolutely ridiculous. I don't know what the hell they're trying to promote out there, but in the real world, you kill somebody, it's a big thing. It's not something where, oh, act like nothing happened, and then you don't have to worry about the law or getting arrested or going to court or going to jail or hiring attorneys and getting prosecuted. I mean, it's just absolutely ridiculous. And you know it's just so sad that we came from Bruce Lee, somebody that was amazing with his abilities and what he was trying to teach people through his movies. We came from Bruce Lee, which is like way up here, to frickin' Cung Lee, which is like way down in the gutters. Like this person's like teaching people to be criminals and just be just like crazy violent people that just don't care about anything. And if somebody messes you over, then the solution is to take revenge and just kill people with pleasure. um this is like a ticking time bomb ready to explode. you know he loves to fight, he loves to kill, and he's just waiting for a moment for something to happen so he could just kill people, just to kill people. And then and then these gangsters seek revenge, and now he seeks revenge back on them. It is really a bunch of nonsense. I can't really say much more about the stupidity of the movie, and it just shows to me how like there's no future in acting, as far as like for so-called martial artists or fighters or whoever. I mean, even if you're a great fighter, like, and a boxer, like Mayweather or Muhammad Ali, or these cage fighters like this Cung Lee or whoever. Even if you're a great fighter and you get fame, there's still no future for you in the movie industry, because this is a direct example to show like how horrible of a role that you're even given, and what you're even putting out there to the public, and what you're feeding their minds. It's just you're just basically infecting them with even more like viruses that causes diseases for their minds. First, you corrupt people's minds by encouraging these people to love and admire like people for hurting other people in competition fighting. You're infecting people's minds to overvalue violence in competition fighting, and then now you go into the movie industry and you're just making it even worse by just being a completely representing completely violent person that really has no good values. And then, you know, I mean, I think it's just sad. I mean, even people like Van Damme back in the day, even I'd say like Van Damme had a lot better roles and would represent something a little bit more positive, a lot more positive than what you would see in a movie like this. And what Bruce Lee represented in his movies, compare that to this movie, you can't even compare it, because this movie is just so horrible as far as what it's trying to represent and what it's trying to promote out there to the public. It just shows that there is no future at all for martial artists or fighters or anybody in in any of this that really focus so much on fighting. There's no future for them in the movies. You could win as many fights as you want in the cage or the ring, and you can even make it to Hollywood, and you can even be the starring role of a movie. But look at what you're representing. It's just horrible. So there's no future in the film for martial artists. There isn't. So, it's the competition fighting. Some of these martial artists are just going into the competition fighting to make money, but that's clearly not the way. That's worse than this movie thing. So you can't go to the movies, you can't go to competition fighting. What's left for the martial artists? I think, just other professions where they're helping people. Maybe becoming a doctor, maybe a dentist, being a firefighter, a police officer, a personal trainer, self-defense coach, martial arts instructor. Just ways going into professions where they're actually teaching. Maybe a high school teacher, college professor, where they're teaching and helping people. But I don't see any future for martial artists in the entertainment industry, because for what America views martial artists to be, it's just violent people that are proficient in being violent. So they just use them as ways of profiting, for them hurting other people, and then putting them in movies where they have just these roles where they're just representing a lot of negativity. Like he literally is just like a criminal. Like I don't know. I mean, I just don't. There's nothing that you could. There's no benefit value whatsoever in that movie. But I'm making a movie review about it just to simply indicate, this how sad it is that this direction the society is going, as far as like the people that people actually look up to, like these cage fighters. Like everybody wants to be like them. They want to be violent criminals like these cage fighters. And just because Cung Lee is so-called Asian doesn't make it, me support him in any way at all. He, in my book, he's a piece of shit. I mean, he is not representing anything positive at all with the martial arts. He's not a Jet Li, he's not a Tony Jaa, he's not a Bruce Lee, and he's not even a Jackie Chan. Jackie Chan, at least, I criticize Jackie Chan on certain things, but, Jackie Chan with doing something like Kung Fu Panda and stuff like that, and doing something like The Karate Kid with Jaden Smith, doing some movies like Police Story. I respect Jackie Chan a lot more than I ever will respect Kung Lee. Kung Lee's a piece of shit in my book. You know what I'm saying? Um, it doesn't matter about his race or anything like that. But I'm just saying that for Americans that maybe descended from Asia, some people might call them Asian Americans or American Asians or whatever, American Chinese or Chinese American. It's like there's really no, like, to me, there's really nothing they can really do to become really well known in this world. You know what I mean? Like, they just get pushed out of the industries. That's what I see. You know what I mean? Like, Jin, for example, was really good at rapping, but he couldn't tap into the hip hop industry. They pushed him out. And somebody like Kung Lee wins all these fights, and they put him in these garbage ass movies where he's just representing something extremely horrible for the society. You know, and then there's just no American Asians or Asian Americans in mass media that I see that are representing something extremely positive and that are really looked up to in America. Just don't see any. You know, and there's this guy on YouTube where he's getting pretty famous. I see his videos everywhere, but the Michael Chang dude or whatever, six pack shortcut abs thing, whatever. He's getting so well known. His videos are everywhere on YouTube, but he's, you know, I don't know if he's doing something positive or not, but he's one of the few Asians that I see that's coming up on the YouTube, but that's through YouTube. That's underground. But as far as like Hollywood is concerned, like American Asians, Chinese Americans, American Chinese or whatever, I don't see any of them making it big in the mass media. You know what I mean? There's nothing you could do to really like gain the respect of America, of how they respect like Will Smith and Denzel Washington and Brad Pitt and Robert De Niro and Al Pacino and, you know, all these big time actors. There's no Asian people out there that are respected like that in the entertainment. Not that I see. You know, so I see that there's really no future for Asians in the mass media, and this movie just goes ahead and supports that. Because here you have somebody, his name's Kung Lee, who beat the hell out of so many damn people throughout his entire life to try to fight to gain more fame and attention, but still he's a nobody. He's just a nobody that's just promoting further violence in society. And he means nothing. Basically, there's never going to be another Bruce Lee. Ever. It's done. You know, all the Asians got to go back to China to get any sort of like recognition from the media outlets in the countries of where you got to go back to China to get famous in China if you're Asian, or go back to the East. But there's no Asians in America that are gonna get famous. I just don't see that. After Bruce Lee is done, it's never gonna happen again. You know, so I see that the Asians are pretty much like underground on the YouTube. That's it. And the internet. But I just see, I'm extremely disappointed in the movie, but it's not that I didn't expect that. I already knew that Kung Lee was a piece of shit to begin with. I mean, just for the fact of him being in cage fighting and the sand style and all that, I already know he's a piece of shit. I already know he's not a real martial artist. So the movie, watching the movie just even supports that even more. That this guy ain't shit, and I don't promote him. I don't support him. I still direct people towards Bruce Lee, Jet Li, Tony Jaa, and even Jackie Chan over this piece of shit dude. So that's my feedback on the piece of shit movie.